well because people grinding those. So I'm in my head because of that. I think it's like a number thing. Maybe they didn't want to carry so much, or maybe they couldn't, or maybe they didn't know how much they could carry, or they didn't. Maybe they did it without realizing it, type of thing. You want to make it 12. Because I mean, it's not, it wasn't it was everything with items, add-ons, and offerings. So it's 12. Two on a toolbox. Like I feel if that happened to everybody, you shouldn't have to contact them and tell them how they, you know what I mean? Like, well, why should that be the player's responsibility for shit that they're taking and doing? I was gonna take that after. But she had a cool Bloodweb here. But you would get a lot of cool ones. The survivors would get like 4 to 5, but it'd be really hard to get 2 in a Bloodweb. You could lower. I have a lot on Rebecca 8 and Wesker because I bought them with the work system thing, and they were really new. Bloodwebs and everything. So she had 2 with the birthday cake and that. And she had 11. Look at that, 9. I got 9. I mean, come on, man. So, I mean, it's just, I don't even want to look at it. 9 Terrormisus. She had 2 of them with a make it. And see, she was one of the characters. I took the million blood, and she was at like 50, and I rolled her, and I slowly, with like 3 different survivors, got more gatos and all the stuff. And to see what level I was going to keep them at and had enough blood. So like the next, so I was really testing it on both sides. 14, she had 32. It was Jill. It wasn't Leon.
It's gonna be a tough road.
He's got 15. He's only got 8. They're probably gonna take something. And he had 2 of them with a flashlight. Most of them were 35. There was a couple where I just... she had 2 with that. If the game didn't have any of these really, besides like blood point ones, to be fair, I probably would have quit the game. If I used offerings, items, and add-ons on either Survivor or Killer, I probably would have quit the game. Because I probably would have contacted them about it. And if they didn't do something in like half a year or a year, I would feel like robbed in a sense. 8. Because if that's a part of the player experience, I would definitely feel. So in a sense, I'm fortunate that I have not really relied or used, you know, like medkits and add-ons or overpowered things like Dead Hard, and she had 2 in a medkit. And he was another one of the characters I took the million blood with. And 26 Terrormisus. But I feel like they should have. So if they fucked everybody, if they had a certain amount, say it was like 1,000 items, 1,000 add-ons, and 1,000 offerings each, they could have either pre-warned people if it wasn't a glitch, because it was probably a glitch. Because, like I said, for my friend Red Raven, he lost all his add-ons on Pinhead, except his like Gatos, and maybe because he had a lot of Gatos or he had a lot of something, they took. He is 26, but it's hard to try to figure out, you know, something that's their system, and you know, Yeeeet was another one. And like same thing with their report feature. I'm looking forward to that with the AIs and bots and stuff, because you know what I mean. Just acknowledgement. I mean, look at that, 11 streamers, and I'm still living on this. Like they needed to let people know, because if you're grinding things out and they're secretly taking things. 27. But at the same time, maybe they don't want people to know that. I think Hetty was another one. I'll go here even though I want this. Hetty was another one. So I honestly feel like that's a big problem. Whether it was, you know, PlayStation community, PlayStation and PC community. Whenever we logged in, and they maybe gave us 2, or maybe that was the price for giving us 2. Giving everybody 2 prestige and glitching all their shit, and you know, I don't know. I mean, she has 27, like a G. I mean, like I was telling Red, I'm probably gonna have more stuff on my newer guys than on my OGs. How does that work? 57. And because of the way it happened, I do feel like it's a, like maybe there's 10,000 limit on all your items, and offerings, and they just gut you at whatever, and it's theirs. At 35, she had 2 of. She had 2 in the toolbox. But I mean, like a new character, I would expect not to have thousands or even hundreds, you know what I mean? 51. I mean, I honestly believe it's more about the transparency of them acknowledging, you know, stuff happened with that. Because Rick contacted him back when it happened. They still haven't got really back to him. And that's pretty bad. I mean, you lost all your add-ons with the killer, and even perks he's still trying to get. He had over, and you know, if they don't know, or if they won't acknowledge it, and I think that's a big part of it. To acknowledge. He got 3 on 35. Or not the acknowledgement, transparency rather, but basically acknowledgement and transparency. 13. Basically the same thing. Same thing with the report he just on. You know, how that goes through them. Like, I probably have more stuff, like I said, with newer characters. I probably got more with her, more items, than I do with characters I've had for years. And how does that make any sense? It doesn't. There's use. And to use all those items and be that high, unless they were purposely, the only thing I could see is they were purposely tricking people with the prestige. And she had 2 in that. And the way they did it, they were like, "Oh, you were gonna prestige your character. Well, you could lose everything, or you can gain everything. So you should prestige them now. We're gonna get these rewards." And because of that, the mixed signals, and he had 3. Maybe it was intentional. Maybe they knew, and maybe they still can't acknowledge it until everybody signs their. You know, they have to look at your sales and all this shit, or everything you buy online, just play their game, and they can go back to another version, you know. I mean, There's no telling. He had 2 in a toolbox. What the killers had. But if a game's willing to do that and not acknowledge, like even the hackers and all the report features, to not acknowledge, or transparency rather, acknowledge same thing basically. But I took that million blood, I spent it on Vasquez, Yuichi, Hattie, and because they were already at like 50. These demons were at 36 and kind of just stood there. These were kind of the least. I should have went back with the million blood I got before the event was over and spent it on these guys. Like the first half of characters, and then the killers the same thing with all my items and out. Look at this shit. Less than 100 ebonies. I never ran an ebony. I mean, it's sad that I got more killer stuff than he had 7. At least they don't have items, so they can't rob you on items in a sense. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they could. I don't. And maybe they did have like an influx, because with you think about it as killer compared to add-ons. Think about it with like survivors and killers with add-ons. They have items, and then they have add-ons and then offerings. You just cut it down to like 1,000. But I mean, there's probably like 1,000 in here. You know, so maybe they just pick numbers. And with the prestige thing, it was kind of manipulating. They were like, oh, you can prestige and lose all your shit, but you can get to a level where we'll give you all the perks. We'll give you all the perks, and he had, the 35s all had 3 and possibly 4. I'll go into some of the other ones. Oh, look at this, less than 100. I never used anything, man. I mean, he had he had over 100. Nice. So maybe they did that intentionally, because like, oh, it's our game. We're to either lessen the load on their servers or try to manipulate people with the prestige and getting them to prestige to lose all their items in order to give them perks to lessen the load on their servers, whether intentional or not in a sense, but to make it easier for everybody else. That's the thing. I leveled them up past 35 to get them some extras, a little bit, but I didn't go back with a million blood, which I should have. But I didn't check. I didn't triple double check everything. Seven on her. But I honestly think that's the one thing that's holding this game back: transparency. Shit like this shouldn't happen in games that aren't trying to scam you or 7 on her, or take advantage of you, or transparency, and if they did, give reward us however you want, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. She had 7. She was a level up. Like, I'm still afraid to look at all my add-ons on, and items on everybody that I don't have, and I probably would have contacted them if I used them, or if I felt, and then if they didn't contact me, that's the thing. If they don't even contact me, or if I feel like their shit is so bad, you only had 6, that can happen, and I can contact them, that's going to put me in a position that I'm not going to want to play. So as a result, I'm not even going to do it. I'm not going to put myself in a position that allows them to take advantage of me and me knowing it, kind of thing. Because I feel like that would be, you know, damn, less than 60 with her. Like, disrespectful, and like, I would take it personally. I mean, how could you not? But I should have came back with a million blood and thrown in those characters. But to me, all these things are like superficial. Besides like the money ones, and but it is gameplay, you know what I mean? Until they, you know, are at another game mode. Like I tell Red, I got all these hackers and stuff. He's like, why don't you just contact them and talk to them about? Like, I don't want to be in a position to, you know, put myself out there and not knowing, not knowing what they're doing on their end. In a sense, I kind of want to let someone else do it. Like he went and did it, and they got back to him with a couple people, and they still never got back to him. He had 6, but that's where I'm at. I like responsibly, I should contact them, but again, I'm not gonna. Same thing with the hackers. I used to play and get 2 hooks on everybody. I mean, I could barely get a hook on everybody. Barely even report people over. So he had 2 hooks over. That was nice. She had. But I do feel it's like an individual thing. So like they can either scam you, you know, whether it was intentional or not, which it probably was intentional. If they're trying to make you prestige to get perks and get a load up, lighten the load off their systems to hoard all your shit on their servers, I do feel it was intentional. But at the same time, their game is so buggy that for them to even try to pull that off might be a bigger achievement than I mean, look at this, 5, 8, 7, 7. I mean, that's, and maybe they couldn't do it. Maybe they couldn't go back and give us all the stuff we had, and maybe they don't want to be transparent about it. Maybe they wanted to keep it a secret and be like, well, you know, we're sorry, but we can't go back. We got this new thing with all the, you know, the everything you bought, and you know, we're looking at cosmetic wise what you buy and what you're willing to buy. Or sales with propeller hats and in the store. Damn, 60 robbage. But it was a good majority of killers where I should have taken my million blood and like went up a level each and slowly got more, because also with the killers, they didn't have they were like the last event where they didn't have any chances for mystery boxes in a sense, because their mystery boxes would be automatically Terrormisus. They didn't have a chance of getting flashlights, toolboxes, or firecrackers, which they didn't give us firecrackers. There's about 67 plugins, never used them. 6. And also, if I went back instead of spending that million on just to check my killers, they were at 36, and then also I could see above 35 to see if there's even a higher one than like 3 to 5 Terrormisus, which I didn't do. But it was kind of in the moment. It was like 5 in the morning and like 6 or 7 hours for for it all to go away. But that would have been a better, for my killers ideally, than like 4 or 5 survivors. But I mean, with them taking everything and still no, I mean, look how long it's been with the hackers and then make a system where, you know, they'll get back to you and, I mean, that's pretty bad. Or even put AIs in their game and they had it in mobile for years. And Red would be like, oh, well, it's a different thing. Yeah, but still, they still didn't, you know, 7 on that, 7 on Ghostface. So all these guys would have had more. It's like 1 million plus blood. And that was definitely my bad. But I was kind of just throwing it around. But I should, that's the one thing I didn't do. I didn't look at I did not look at the higher killer ones. So I definitely could have capitalized more on my killer side, higher levels, to see how their blood webs affected compared to survivors. Because I went through every survivor level. I did not go through every killer level. Like Wesker, I prestiged him and stuff, so I did, and Singularity, I probably did, but I didn't keep a mental note of it. So like all the killers, I think to Oni, or not even Oni, yeah, to Oni. All the killers to Oni would have had more Terrormisus. They only got 6. They would have had like, with 1 million blood, how many levels would that be from? I'd say like 5 each, so they probably would have had like 10 more each. 4, 8, 12, 16, 18 killers. And then these ones I leveled up, I was in the process of leveling these ones up. These were the first things I were to level up because I was already leveling them up to 30. And then I kind of went through and I was going to say I leveled them up to another prestige or whatever, but I didn't do that with the top ones. I just kept them at 35, and I kind of wanted to make sure I got more Terrormisus on the bottom guys, the newer killers, and newer survivors, more than anything. 12 to 35, he got 3 in a streamer. He got 3 with a and then these are starting to get into the more 15. 17. But like as a company, you shouldn't be doing, he had 3. They all had 3 at 35, same thing with the survivor they hauled with their. You shouldn't be manipulating people or taking advantage of them to this extent without acknowledging it to some degree. Whether it's a base by base, you know, base by basis or whatever. Player by player, and you know, and maybe they will, you know, I have to give, you know, 17 there, 11, 19. She was lucky one that I didn't know if more had, she got 3, and she had like 3 of these at a lower level and some pretty good ones. But I definitely dropped the ball at the last 1 million, because I had all my survivors. Some of those ones were at 50, and I was like, but at the same time, if they're at 50, they can get a lot more gatos at a lower level. But if I'm not leveling these guys up and giving them more and knowing the max, I probably should have went with like Singularity and stuff, or like Wesker, and made a mental note of it. But I mean, I was just kind of crap just spending. Like I said, that last 1 million was like 5 to 7 hours before reset. So it was really, look at 37 puddings. So there you go. There's probably confirmation. The fact that I only have 37 puddings with Nemesis and I never used a pudding, and look how low everything is. So I'm thinking it's definitely a number. It's a number on their server that they don't want you to have too many items. Because I had 145 of these and I was grinding them. And whether that number is consistent, taking things away, that to me shows that because I have 145 of them, that I only have 37 of these. That's proven to me that there's a number limit on Survivor and Killer, whether it's still in play or it was only after the, when were these? Were these before the 50, or were these between the 7th and, you know what I mean? So that to me is more revealing than even what they could tell me. Look at my add-ons. I don't even have hundreds of. I mean, but I guess he's a newer killer, but like they took all my boys' add-ons. They took all Red's add-ons and left them. Or was it not? He took all his add-ons. It was his offerings, and he has nothing for offerings. And I was telling him it was probably because he was playing Pinhead during the time they were giving out the 2 prestige or doing them over. He's got 19. There's 20 Terrormisus. She had 3. She had 3 with a pudding. So, I mean, and I'm not saying it's not fair that people lost their shit, because if it's a server thing, it is bullshit, but if they don't acknowledge it or give, transparency to it, you know, maybe it'd be too much to give everybody what they had before, because even with their, oh, we can go back on another server thing. Also, last time I granted Killer really hard compared to Survivor on their specials, and look at, he got 3 on that, and because of Killer's got more gachos than Survivors, he only got 40, so I mean 22. And I just got him, he's freaking flanked out. 88. He had 3 with orchestra. See, I have more puddings on the night than I do, like I was saying, newer killers. I'm gonna have newer survivors. They're gonna have more than my old guys, either because they're not at a limit, and 21 on him. And I mean, it's just, look at 32. I probably don't have any survivor or killer with 32. 67, 37. He had 3 with he had 58. So definitely should come to, I forget what it is,